Hey guys, it's Emma, and I'm back today for you with another video. This video is my September 2022 wrap-up. I read 9 books in September, which is a pretty big surprise considering the start of my reading month for September. It was something else, okay? By the way, little disclaimer before we actually get into the thick of this video. If you see like any concealer lines, no you don't. I haven't quite exactly figured out how to get these like completely gone yet. Maybe I'm using too much concealer or foundation. If anybody has any tips for, you know, like how to get rid of those like lines because of the wrinkles on my eyelids, that would be a really big help because your girl has been struggling with this for a while, but not the point. These are the 9 books that I read during this month. We have a bunch of books, 4 manga novels, okay? I'm doing a vlog where I'm reading a bunch of manga, so that'll be up pretty soon. And yeah, before we start, if you guys could go down in the description box to look at the links for all of the causes that I have, so you guys can maybe educate yourselves on them or donate towards them. And then also down below in the comments, let me know whether or not you guys have read some of these books, whether you agree with the ratings, you know, all that good jazz. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump right into it. Alrighty, so this month started off pretty disappointingly, I must say, because the first book that I read, or really DNF'd, was Star Wars Visions Ronin by Mieko Candon. I wanted so badly to, one, finish this book, but also I wanted to love it so much. And the real disappointing thing about this is that it has so much potential. All right, I DNF'd it at 78% on page 259. So I got through half of it, so I did rate it. I gave it 3 stars. It's definitely not a bad book. It just was not the greatest. The main problem with this book for me was the writing. It was too abstract in a way. I don't know if that means what I think it means, but I'm using it that way, okay? It was just abstract to the point where it was confusing to tell who was who, to tell who was doing what, to tell where we were, to tell, you know, what somebody was feeling. The inner monologue of almost every character in here was so bizarre. A lot of things weren't really explained very well. This book is kind of like feudal Japan meets Star Wars, which was amazing. Okay, I love that premise. It was so cool. But the way it was executed did not do it justice, in my opinion. And I think that is just such a waste. But I do think that if you are someone who can easily get past the writing style, this would be amazing for you if you're interested in Star Wars books, okay? Just plainly because the premise is so interesting. Our main character is a Ronin. Is Ronin. He's a former Sith who now hunts down other Sith. It was so cool. It was just the writing that was so hard to get through for me. The next one, everybody, that we're gonna talk about is one of the best books I've read for the entire month of September, and that is Ensnared by Tiffany. I understand, all right? I understand. Y'all don't even have to tell me anything. I understand, okay? I know. There's a reason why I didn't show any of my friends what this book looked like, okay? But I'm sorry for being down bad. It will happen again, okay? With that being said, I gave this book 5 stars. We got a spider alien. His name is Candon, and he is being pursued by the queen of his colony, because this is like, it's spiders. He's being pursued by the queen of his colony. He's not feeling her, and so he's going off into the jungle, and he comes upon this wrecked spaceship, and in this spaceship is a bunch of human passengers. It's kind of like Pitch Black. If you guys like Pitch Black, it's got that little element in there. And Candon rescues this one woman named Ivy, and it's all about them basically like learning each other's languages and a romance blossoming, and it was so good. Okay, this book is a slow burn. All right, this book makes you wait for it, girlies. The buildup is amazing. The plot is great. I definitely want to read the sequel because this ends on a cliffhanger. Okay, it was really cool, and I just loved the fact that it was like, we really saw Catan and Ivy like literally learn each other's languages. It was really interesting. Like I said, it has that pitch black element with like, you know, the whole crash landing thing, but it also, in my opinion, has like that Avatar part where, you know, Jake is learning Natiri's language. It was so cool. Okay, so if you're a monster lover fan like me, definitely pick this up. Tiffany Roberts writes them really well. If you guys have seen my Book of Tea duology review, then you guys will probably know a good majority of the things that I'm going to say about this next book, and that is A Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy Lin. I gave this book 2 stars. This is the sequel to A Magic Steeped in Poison, and it follows Ning and Kong basically trying to win back the kingdom that was taken from them by Kong's father. The characters weren't really fleshed out. We got Kong's perspective in this book, which unfortunately didn't do very much for him. I mean, in the first third of it, I would say he really only served as a lens for us readers to look through and see what was happening on the other side of the empire. There was little to no action on page that we saw, and any action that we did see was very instantaneous. For example, the final battle where we meet the big bad villain, whose dialogue was incredibly heavy-handed, by the way. It lasted like 1 chapter. And I just remember I remember reading it and being like, that was it? It's over? Definitely check out the first book and see if that's more your speed, and if it is, that's great. And then, you know, it'd be up to you completely whether or not you want to continue with the duology. Those are my thoughts on the second book. The first book was decent, but the second book definitely fell off for me. Speaking of disappointing books, they just keep coming. All right, and the fourth book that I read in September was Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami. This is a very short conglomeration of about 7, 8 short stories about men who have women troubles. This is a very simplified synopsis, but that's the gist of it. Okay, I had heard so much about Murakami and how so many people that I know read not only Men Without Women, but any other Murakami book, and it would be great. This was just, I don't know, lukewarm for me. I think I only really enjoyed 2 stories in here, and even then the dialogue was interesting in some bits. It got oddly sexual at some points. It wasn't that it was sex related stuff that I had a problem with. It was just the fact that it was so out of the blue. It was like, where did this come from? So while I don't dissuade anyone from reading this, it's definitely not the best start to my Murakami reading journey. Disappointing books galore, because next, everybody, we have Fox and I by Catherine Raven. This is about, this is either a biography? Question mark? About this woman who finishes her PhD in biology, and she wants to basically go off the radar. She wants to be isolated, get away from society, which, you know what, girl? I felt you on that. She goes to the wilderness of Montana, and she develops this friendship with this fox that basically meets her on her porch at like 4:15 every day, and she ends up, you know, kind of daydreaming about what his life is. I also DNF'd this book. I did not rate it, however, because I DNF'd it at 18% on page 49. This was also a big disappointment for me, just plainly because I've had this book on my shelf for the past 2 years or so, and this is kind of a paradoxical mini review right here, because I loved how it was written, but at the same time I didn't like how it was written. Hear me out, okay? I loved how it was written out, how I would consume an Animal Planet documentary or a National Geographic documentary, okay? With that being said though, it wasn't a nature documentary about the fox. It's called Fox and I, not Vole and I, not Milkweed and I, not Dandelion and I guess I was more bummed about the fact that it wasn't as fox-centered. Let's just keep it short and simple and sweet. I was bored. The next book that I read was Devil's Line Volume 1 by Ryo Hanada. This is set in our world, I would say, where vampires are a thing and there's this secret police force that goes after them. And one of our characters, his name is Anzai. He is a vampire on this task force, and he is currently watching over Tsukasa, who he saved from a vampire attack. And they're getting a little steamy, okay? This was so good. I gave it 4 stars. All right, I cannot tell y'all how much I loved this. It was gritty. It reminded me so much of Underworld, and Underworld is one of my favorite movies of all time. That is the pinnacle of vampires versus werewolves movies for me. Underworld, God tier. I will not hear any ifs, ands, or buts about it. I deal only in absolutes, and Underworld is an absolute trophy of a movie. This has the bodyguard trope, everybody, and if you've been on my channel since when did I post my American Royals rant review? If y'all have been here, if y'all have stayed here ever since that rant review, then y'all would know that my kryptonite is the bodyguard trope. I love that trope. It will never not make me fold, okay? And Devil's Line is definitely setting that shit up. So if you're looking for new manga that has a short series span, definitely pick up Devil's Line, all right? Because that's honestly what I look for in manga now. I'm sorry, Fairy Tail, Honeycomb, I love you to death, but I'm not reading 1,500 volumes. I'm not doing it. The next one that we have is Sweat and Soap Volume 2 by Kintetsu Yamada. All right, I loved this. This is continuing the romance between Asako and Kotaro. The communication between these two is something that I will always applaud. All right, wow. We also see Asako kind of come out of her shell and be a little less shy, which I love. Over the moon for her, okay? And like, you know, we see her like deal with it and like come to terms with it and be like, okay, well, wait a minute, no, I actually liked it. It was scary at first. I'm gonna do something else. And I was like, you know what, girl? We love it for you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Sweat and Soap, I would say it's a pretty damn good manga. It's funny. It's cute. All right, this had me experiencing cuteness aggression. I think in my manga vlog, I smashed this against the wall a couple times just plainly because I had to get it out. All right, or else I was gonna run up and down the freeway. 5 stars. I loved it. Yes, I do have the 3rd and the 4th volumes already in my Amazon cart. Mind your business. With that being said, we're moving on to the 3rd manga volume that I've got, and that is A Man and His Cat, Volume 1 by Umi Sakurai. This is just a really cute, feel-good manga about this older man who adopts an older cat, and them coming to realize that probably the 2 of them meeting was the best thing that could have ever happened for both of them. I gave this 3 stars. It was so heartwarming, okay, especially because it deals with older cats in shelters. It had me tearing up and thinking to myself, am I really gonna cry over a cat manga? Am I really gonna shed tears over a cat manga? Yes, I was. It just reminded me so much of when I got my cat when she was a kitten. The only reason I didn't give it 4 stars was because of the cat's dialogue. It was very, obviously written so that, you know, this will be, oh, it's cute. It's so you know it's a cat talking, you know, instead of saying, oh, did you do this? The cat says, oh, did Mew do this? It was cute, but it got cringy real quick, okay? So that's my only gripe. I would say if you're looking for a cute, feel-good, really short manga, go for A Man and His Cat, okay? The last book that I read, this is the last manga volume, for September. Basically, September was a full circle. Aren't circles just the funniest shapes? Because we have Chainsaw Man Volume 1 by Tatsuki Fujimoto. This is about a guy named Denji who is up to his eyeballs in debt, and he has this job working for the Yakuza as a devil hunter, where he basically hunts demons. And he has like this little dog named Pochita, who's also a devil, who he saved the life of, and so they're, you know, like best friends for life. And so one day an incident happens where Denji is now endowed with this power of a demon, and so he now has become Chainsaw Man. What to say about this book? I gave it 2 stars. Just bread and boobs. The main goals of this of Denji, bread and boobs. Some stuff happened in here that did not make sense. The dialogue of the villains was so suffocatingly heavy-handed that it was like, oh my gosh. Like, be a little more obvious, why don't you? Like, homeboy was serving it to you on a silver platter. I am the villain. Fear me. I liked the fight scenes where Denji actually became Chainsaw Man, but those were sparse. Alright, few and very freaking far between, alright, because there were only maybe 2, 3 at the most. I don't know whether or not it's geared towards children because of the dialogue, or whether or not it's geared towards older fans because of the gore. I'm a little confused, but that's okay. That's okay. So you guys, those were all of the books that I read for September. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you guys had a better reading month than I did. But now today, the day that I'm filming this is October 1st. It's the first day of my birthday month, and I have such high expectations for October. All right, not only is it Libra season and Scorpio season, but it's also my birthday month. It's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm gonna need October to lock it the hell up. Okay, so you guys, with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you will stay tuned to more videos on my channel, that you will check out the description box below for links, and also for my social media accounts in case you guys want to follow me on there, and that you guys are staying safe, and last but not least, that you guys have a good rest of your day.